Hey Sepul Nation around the world, welcome to another Storyteller on SepulQuarta, a very special one. We just had the performance of Orgasmatron with Phil Campbell, and that's our subject on the Storyteller starting today, part 1. We're gonna remember all the Sepultura covers, the music versions we did, and it was really interesting, to go back and started to remember which one we did. And I mean, covers was always very important for me. It's my basic school. I never did like a guitar lesson, had a guitar lesson. I had acoustic guitar lessons, like classical guitar and all that kind of stuff. But electric guitar, I never had like a teacher. My teachers were the albums I was listening and all my idols, and from Black Sabbath to Metallica, Judas Priest, and all that stuff. So and my first show with Sepultura, we play Curse the Gods from Destruction. My first jamming with Igor was playing Slayer, was playing Creator and Destruction and all that stuff. So covers was really something that connect a lot of different musicians that personally maybe they don't have anything in common, but with their instruments in their hands, they can have this connection, which is great. I love to play covers still today. I have a band called Kisser Clan together with my son Johan. We did 2 Rock in Rios already, and we only play covers from the Beatles to Slipknot. So we play everything, and I still learn with them, especially singing. My son sings as well, and we play, as I said, many different styles of music within the cover, within the world that music that we love, and etc. So here we are, and it was very interesting to find out that our first cover ever was a Brazilian band. We did Mutantes, A Hora e a Vez do Cabelo Nascer. That was for a compilation that came out in 1990 or 1989, something like that, for the record label that put out Beneath the Remains here in Brazil, Eldorado Records. And it was this compilation the album is called Sanguinho Novo, or New Little Blood, in a free translation. So it was very interesting that I didn't realize that our first cover version ever recorded was from this Brazilian band, one of the most recognizable Brazilian band in history. In the 60s and the 70s, Mutantes was very important internationally as well, So before that, we never really recorded any covers. Bestial Devastation, Morbid Visions, even Schizophrenia. Our bonus track was the re-recording of Troops of Doom, with this new lineup that we had at the time, and etc. On Beneath the Remains as well, we didn't have any bonus tracks, and we didn't record any covers. So this compilation came out right after Beneath the Remains. As I said, the same record label, put out here in Brazil. Many other Brazilian artists made this homage to Arnaldo Batista, one of the main composers and writers of Mutantes. And we did that, very much influenced, of course, by Metallica, when Metallica did Bradfan, especially. And it's kind of the same style, the same approach that we took. And the song is already very rocking, very heavy. If you listen to the original version, which is very interesting, you can hear. And we did in English, because Max was not very comfortable of singing in Portuguese, which I think was a shame. At the time I agreed, yeah, let's do it in English, Portuguese suck and everything, but nowadays I think it was a really cool opportunity to record something in Portuguese, which we did in Polícia, which I'll comment later. But it was really cool, and I talked to Sergio Dias, which is the guitar player from Mutantes, one of the founders, and also brother of Arnaldo Batista. And he was very pleased, with our version. And also we jammed that version with Beto Lee, which is the son of Rita Lee, also a member and founder of Mutantes. So it was really cool that we have this connection, not only with the band and with the musicians. And we record here in São Paulo, Brazil, at the Eldorado Studios with our good friend and our late Carlos Miranda.
I remember it was recorded in an Eldorado studio in São Paulo downtown. Beautiful, amazing studio that was set up for orchestras and a fully amazing, nicely old vintage gear. That's one of the memories that I can remember, and I remember as well Miranda being very hard on me to play the bass, because you gotta be tight, because the bass player from Mutantes, Liminha, is one of the most iconic musicians, bass players in the rock history in Brazil. So he was very on my back, to get the bass well played. And I remember he was called like, "You need to play this like a man." I was like, dude. I believe we played very little live. I don't remember recalling playing that live, which was gonna be, it can be a very good choice, for one of the SepulQuartas, maybe, never know. We'll see.
At the time, the Brazilian rock scene was not really, didn't care too much about Sepultura. They didn't consider us Brazilians because we didn't sing in Portuguese, let's say. And Carlos Miranda gave us the freedom and liberty to do in English, to make this version, and so we could feel comfortable doing our version, But I think it would be cool at the time if we even tried to do in Portuguese, which we didn't even attempt. But it was a great start of this cover world that we love so much, we Sepultura, and also a good opportunity to bring guests and people that we know to jam with us on stage and etc. So our start was this, Mutantes, A Hora e a Vez do Cabelo Nascer. So when we were working on Arise, rehearsing and writing the material here in São Paulo as well, in the studios in Perdizes, which was the same region where Mutantes started, and all the rock scene of the 60s and the 70s started in São Paulo, Perdizes and Sumaré and all that part, So it was really cool that we started to work on the Rise there and writing the first riffs and the first ideas. We already moved from Belo Horizonte to São Paulo, and because Beneath the Remains was very successful, the record label finally put all the effort and all the financial input that we needed to do a great album that we were expected to do on Beneath the Remains, which was great, but, all the changing the album cover and the logo and all that stuff. Finally, we had on Arise something that we really were able to do everything we wanted. So they asked us for a bonus track, because they really wanted to do something special and something big, a nice release and everything. And in 1990, during those days that we were writing, MOTÖRHEAD came to Brazil. And MOTÖRHEAD played this concert at Ibirapuera Gymnasium, which is a big arena, sports arena, not at all made for shows. But nevertheless, a lot of shows happened there. Metallica played there, and Sepultura played there on their Rise release party and stuff. Party no, but release show, etc. But MOTÖRHEAD was there, and they tried to play 2 or 3 songs, and was horrible sound. Lemmy stopped the show, and he brought the promoter on stage, which was Valcir Chalas, the owner of Woodstock Records, where we actually bought our import albums and everything. So he was involved on the production to bring MOTÖRHEAD to Brazil. And Lemmy brought him on stage and said, "You're going to explain them why we're going to have to stop the show." And he did. We had many problems with the PA system and the monitors and etc. MOTÖRHEAD wouldn't be able to do the show. Everybody was pissed off and etc. But they rescheduled the show a few days later in a different place at Projeto SP. And we went there. We all did as a band. We went to the concert, and they played Orgasmatron, and was, oh my God, it was fantastic. The impact was so great. you know, especially because of the green light that came from under on Lemmy's face, and everything else was very dark and stuff, you know, and the song is like a mantra, and it caused a great impact, you know, on all of us. And I guess Max suggested, you know, oh, let's do this as the bonus track that they asking for, and we went to the studio on that same week, and we arranged the song our way, you know. So was really the impact of the live performance that really made us choose Orgasmatron, you know. And Motorhead, of course, has so many different songs, and it's a band, one of our main influences, you know, on historically ever. So Orgasmatron was also a very different song for Sepultura, a slower pace. We have everything too much, I mean, in a fast pace, of course, Arise and Then Embryonic Cells and all that stuff that we were working on, Desperate Cry, you know. So, but Orgasmatron was something very different that was very cool, you know, to do it.
That was a great cover that brought us a lot of profits in so many different aspects. We won MTV Awards for that song. That there's a live version that was recorded down in São Paulo.
We went to Los Angeles in 1991 because of that, and we met Kiss and MC Hammer. We saw Metallica and Van Halen and Prince. Wow, it was fantastic. You know, Orgasmatron really opened a lot of doors for Sepultura, and we have a very sentimental attachment to that song.
That song was particularly recorded in Morris Sound in Florida, and as you know, I did not record the bass for the album, but I did record the bass for that song, so good for you, Paulo.
Lemmy performed that song with us a few times on stage. Now Phil Campbell is with us, and I perform with them as well. Not only Orgasmatron, but going to Brazil and Overkill, and we have such a great, amazing, respectful relationship. And it's a song that actually played on the radio here in Brazil, which was unheard for a Sepultura song really to be there. And many people here in Brazil actually think Sepultura wrote Orgasmatron because we were so much attached to that song.
It's a very special song in many ways, and especially when we had all the MOTÖRHEAD guys coming in stage and play with us on one of the Sepultura anniversary as well. And we have Lemmy coming on stage a few times. Once he only sung the song I was trying to find here to put it for you, but another time he only played the bass, and Phil Campbell, of course, did a few versions. And the last memory that I have playing that song was when Lemmy got sick in Brazil on the Monsters of Rock Festival, and I had to be Lemmy for a few songs, which was the most scary task ever in my career. I usually don't get nervous before I go on the stage, but this time I was not there. But it was a great memories, you know. It's in a sense that be able to be a part of this family with these guys. So that's one of the few memories that I have from Orgasmatron. Hope you like it. If not, sorry.
It's great that we today, you know, have this performance with Phil Campbell, and such a special moment in our career.
The next song, "Drug Me" by Dead Kennedys, the song that we also did a version of it. I don't remember much of that song. I remember that I did record the bass, something that was very unusual on that time. I remember because I was very punk rock, and I remember that we did that Nas Nuvens studio in Rio. We had a better budget to do it, and it was a compilation for alternative tentacles.
Jello Biafra came to Brazil in 1992. It was around the same time, And myself and Igor, together with the Ratos de Porão guys, we jammed with Yellow Biafra. It was insane. We did one show here in São Paulo at Aroanta, in a very small place. Was packed, you know, it was fantastic. And at the Circo Voador in Rio de Janeiro, a little bigger, but also packed. During the Bio Week in 1992 that happened in Rio, was a very special week in Rio. A lot of people from outside doing art performances all over town. And we did this jamming with Yellow Biafra, playing Holiday in Cambodia, and we played large songs as well. So it was really great, you know. So they invited us to do this cover, and we chose Drug Me. I don't remember exactly why, but all the other famous songs were taken, like Holiday in Cambodia and Nazi Punk's Fuck Off, and, you know, all the great stuff that Dead Kennedys have. And we took this Drug Me song that was really hardcore, really fast, really short as well. And that was really interesting because we went to Rio to record that song because we really wanted to do right, because we just did Beneath the Remains not just did, but we re-record Beneath the Remains at the Nas Nuvens studios in 1989. And we had the opportunity to record, because of the budget we had and everything, to record this track at the Nas Nuvens studios. And I remember I just did the surgery, you know. I broke my arm and I had those external pins on my arm. You can look as well from some photos that I did a tour with that, because I broke my arm doing jet skiing, and I'll tell that story in details later. Not later, but in another time, in another storyteller. So I had that on my arms, like, was really, I think early 92 or something like that.
I believe he couldn't play that well because he was still recovering. So I remember he was doing some leads, but I believe Max did the recording of the rhythm tracks.
It's cool because Dead Kennedys also is a band that really influenced a lot. Yellow Biafra, we work on Biotech's Godzilla together, on Chaos AD, and we respect him so much. Also the track Politrix on Nation, he performed, you know, this politician on the track and everything. So we have such a respectful relationship, and it was so cool to represent Sepultura or represent Dead Kennedys in a Sepultura way. So I really like that version. It really came out great, and because of the conditions we have, was a really special, unique recording that we did. And like I said, it was very quick, very fast, and was did in Rio, and we did in Rio. So it was really cool. Drug Me rocks.
I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you all for being watching all the SepulQuartas and participating with us, you know, through these rough times that we've been going through. We will be back on the road as soon as all this crap clears up. You know, please subscribe the channel. Don't forget to hit the little ring, the alarm, so you can get notifications about our stuff. Please support the bands, support the crew, support the people that is involved with the entertainment business. It's been a very rough time for all of us. You know, we know our segment is going to be one of the last ones to get back on track. So we need the support from all of you. And thank you so much for taking the time to watch. And we try to bring the best that we can to share with you every Wednesday. So be good, be safe, and we'll see you soon. And we'll see you on every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Brazilian time. By the way, another thing, you still can donate, and you still can participate and help all the institutions that we've been trying to help. Even on the old SepulQuartas, I believe you're still able to donate. So don't forget to do that if you can. It's a big help to help others. All right, thank you. Have a good day, and see you soon. Natal.
Thank you, Sepul Nation. Go to sepultura.com.br. Follow Sepultura on all social media profiles. See you next Wednesday.